You wake up in the middle of the night, again, clutching your leg in pain. Another muscle cramp. You think it's just part of getting older? But what if I told you it's not just age? It's a missing vitamin your body is begging for. And the truth is, you're missing out on something big. The kind of simple, daily protection that could save you from years of discomfort, weakness, or worse. Big pharma companies make billions getting you hooked on heavy prescription pills. But these simple, natural vitamins, they don't promote them because there's no profit in prevention. In this video, we're uncovering 3 must-have vitamins every senior should be taking. Not just for energy or immunity, but to stop those nighttime leg cramps. Protect your brain. They actually rebuild muscle strength from the cellular level and even prevent hidden heart risks. These aren't exotic, expensive pills. They're simple, science-backed nutrients your body is quietly craving. And skipping even one can cost you years of good health. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what your body desperately needs. Let's start with one of the most underrated but absolutely essential vitamins, vitamin D. Vitamin D is often brushed aside as just a sunshine vitamin, and that's one of the biggest mistakes in elderly healthcare. Unlike heavy prescription medications, which dominate senior care, vitamin D doesn't have a big pharmaceutical push behind it. It's cheap, easy to obtain, and can't be patented. As a result, the focus often falls on managing symptoms with drugs like painkillers, anti-inflammatories, or sleep aids rather than correcting a silent deficiency that may be causing those very issues. A 2024 review in Therapeutics and Clinical Risk Management pointed out that vitamin D deficiency remains extremely common in older adults, yet frequently ignored in primary care settings, even though it affects everything from muscle strength to immune balance. Think of vitamin D as the body's behind-the-scenes coordinator. It helps your intestines absorb calcium, the mineral that keeps your bones strong. Without vitamin D, calcium can pass right through your system unused, leading to bone weakening over time. But that's not all. Vitamin D also acts like a messenger in your muscles and immune system, turning on genes that help build and repair tissue. In seniors, low vitamin D slows down these essential signals, making muscles weaker and the immune system sluggish. In fact, researchers now understand that vitamin D helps preserve muscle protein synthesis, keeps mitochondria, your cell's energy factories, functioning properly, and reduces chronic inflammation, all of which are vital for strength and vitality. When your skin is exposed to sunlight, specifically ultraviolet B, UVB rays, it triggers a natural process that starts the production of vitamin D. A compound in your skin absorbs the UVB rays and converts into pre-vitamin D3, which then becomes vitamin D3. However, in older adults, this skin-to-vitamin D process becomes far less efficient. As we age, the amount of 7-dehydrocholesterol in the skin decreases significantly, meaning even with the same amount of sun exposure, elderly skin produces far less vitamin D than younger skin. According to research published in the journal Aging, Clinical and Experimental Research, a 70-year-old produces about 75% less vitamin D than a 20-year-old after the same sun exposure. So it becomes clear why supplementation is often not just helpful, but necessary for maintaining healthy vitamin D levels in seniors. Here's where things get serious. Ignoring vitamin D deficiency as you age can do more than make your bones brittle. It can literally steal your strength. Studies show that up to 87% of older adults are deficient in vitamin D, and those with low levels have dramatically higher risks of sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and power. In one case control study cited in the 2024 review, seniors with vitamin D levels under 20 nanogram per milliliter were 7.75 times more likely to develop sarcopenia than those with healthy levels. Sarcopenia isn't just a fancy word. It leads to slower walking, higher risk of falls, difficulty standing up, and long hospital stays. It's a condition that creeps in quietly and is often mistaken for just aging, when in reality, it's a nutritional failure that could have been prevented with a simple blood test and affordable supplement. For seniors, the general recommendation for vitamin D intake ranges between 800 IU to 2000 IU per day, though some people may need higher doses if they are deficient. The safe upper limit set by the Institute of Medicine is 4000 IU per day, but this should only be used under a doctor's supervision. To know where you stand, the best way is to get a simple blood test called the 25-hydroxyvitamin D test, 25-OHD. This measures the amount of vitamin D circulating in your body. Ideally, your levels should be at least 30 nanograms per milliliter, with 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter being a healthy, optimal range for older adults. Levels below 20 nanograms per milliliter are considered deficient and can increase your risk of muscle weakness, fractures, and immune problems. If your levels are low, speak to your doctor. They may start you on a loading dose or a daily maintenance dose depending on how far off you are. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, which means it should be taken with a meal that contains some healthy fat to help your body absorb it properly. The best time to take it is usually with lunch or your largest meal of the day, especially if it includes foods like avocados, olive oil, nuts, or fatty fish. In fact, fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel are among the best natural food sources of vitamin D. For example, 3 ounces of cooked salmon can provide about 450 IU, and canned sardines can give you around 270 IU per serving. Other helpful sources include fortified dairy products like milk or yogurt, egg yolks, and mushrooms exposed to sunlight, though these generally provide lower amounts unless fortified. Since it's difficult for most seniors to get enough vitamin D from food alone, supplementation is often necessary, but it must be guided by your personal test results and health profile. By the way, if you're finding this helpful so far, take a second to hit that like button. It really helps more seniors and families discover these life-changing tips. And don't forget to subscribe, because we've got more videos coming up on simple, natural ways to stay strong, sharp, and independent after 60. Now, if vitamin D is the sunshine hero your bones and muscles crave, then vitamin B12 is the brain's secret weapon. And trust me, most seniors are running low on it without even realizing. Vitamin B12 is one of the most critical yet commonly overlooked vitamins in senior health, and a deficiency can silently sabotage your body for years before being noticed. It plays a key role in everything from energy production to nerve function, but older adults often absorb it poorly due to changes in stomach acid and digestion. According to the National Institutes of Health, between 10% to 20% of adults over age 60 are deficient in vitamin B12, and in some populations, the rate is even higher. Vitamin B12 is essential for maintaining the myelin sheath, the protective coating that wraps around your nerves like insulation around a wire. When your B12 levels are healthy, nerve signals travel smoothly, helping your muscles contract properly and your brain stay sharp. But when you're deficient, this sheath begins to break down, leading to numbness, tingling, burning feet, or even muscle cramps and leg weakness. That's why many seniors with low B12 complain of pins and needles in their hands or feet. It's not always due to aging or poor circulation. It could be your nerves crying out for this vitamin. B12 is also critical in the production of red blood cells, so deficiency often results in fatigue, pale skin, and shortness of breath. According to a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, Long-term deficiency can even lead to irreversible nerve damage and cognitive decline, which is why early detection is so crucial. As we age, our stomach produces less hydrochloric acid, and that's a problem because this acid is needed to absorb B12 from food. Many seniors also take medications like proton pump inhibitors or metformin, which further block B12 absorption. That's why, even with a balanced diet, older adults can still become deficient and may require supplemental B12 to meet their body's needs. For most seniors, a daily dose of 250 to 500 micrograms of vitamin B12 is considered safe and effective. If a deficiency is confirmed, doctors may start with higher doses or even monthly B12 injections in more severe cases. Since B12 is water-soluble, any excess is usually flushed out through urine, making it generally safe for long-term use. Vitamin B12 is naturally found in animal-based foods. A 3-ounce serving of beef liver provides over 70 micrograms. Salmon, tuna, eggs, and dairy products also contain moderate amounts. For example, a cup of milk offers about 1 microgram, and 1 egg contains around 0.6 micrograms. But getting enough from food alone can be hard, especially if your appetite is low or digestion is impaired. Write in the comments, what do you think is the best time to take vitamin B12 supplements? B12 supplements are best taken on an empty stomach or with a light meal, ideally earlier in the day, because they can slightly boost energy. Sublingual, under the tongue, tablets or methylcobalamin forms are well absorbed and a great option for seniors with poor digestion. Let me tell you about a real story of Mary, a 72-year-old retired teacher, started feeling unusually tired. She had frequent leg cramps, trouble balancing, and sometimes forgot simple things, like her neighbor's name or why she walked into a room. Her family feared early dementia. Her doctor initially agreed and considered cognitive decline until a blood test showed her vitamin B12 level was dangerously low, just 130 picogram milliliter. Normal is 200 to 900. She started a high-dose B12 supplement and received a few monthly injections. Within weeks, her energy returned, the leg cramps faded, and her memory noticeably improved. Vitamin B12 deficiency is known as the great imitator because it mimics many conditions linked to aging, but it's treatable when caught early. All right, now that your nerves and memory are covered, let's talk about the mineral your muscles are screaming for. And no, it's not calcium. It's magnesium. Let's get one thing straight. Magnesium isn't a vitamin. It's a mineral. But if you're over 60, skipping it could cost you dearly. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, and yet many seniors don't get enough. According to the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, around 50% of older adults in the U.S. consume less magnesium than they need. It quietly supports your heart rhythm, keeps your bones strong, controls blood sugar, and most importantly for seniors, it keeps your muscles from cramping and twitching. If you've been waking up at night with charley horses or feeling muscle stiffness or spasms, low magnesium could be to blame, not aging or dehydration alone. Magnesium plays a balancing role with calcium inside your muscles. While calcium triggers muscle contraction, magnesium helps them relax. Think of calcium as the go signal and magnesium as the stop. Without enough magnesium, your muscles keep firing, leading to spasms, cramps, or restlessness. Seniors are especially vulnerable because kidney function declines with age, which affects magnesium balance in the body. In fact, studies in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition show that low magnesium is directly linked to increased muscle cramping and weakness in the elderly. Magnesium is essential for energy production. Every cell in your body uses a molecule called ATP, adenosine triphosphate, your cellular fuel. But here's what most people don't know. ATP can't be activated without magnesium. In fact, inside the body, ATP always exists as MgATP, bound with magnesium to function properly. So, if you're feeling unusually tired sluggish, or weak even after resting well. Your mitochondria might be starving for magnesium. This is why it's called the invisible fatigue mineral. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Even if you're eating well, you still might be magnesium deficient. Why? As we age, our body gets less efficient at absorbing it. Plus, certain medications that many seniors take, like diuretics for blood pressure, proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, and even some antibiotics, can drain your magnesium levels without you even knowing it. So you might be walking around tired, stiff, or crampy, thinking this is just aging, when really, your body's just running low on this key mineral. So how much should you be getting? For most older adults, the recommended daily intake is around 320 milligrams for women and 420 milligrams for men. But if you're low, and many seniors are, your doctor might suggest a supplement to bring your levels up safely. The good news? Magnesium is pretty forgiving. Your body will flush out what it doesn't need, especially if you're taking a magnesium citrate or glycinate form, which are gentler on the stomach than oxide. Oh, and if you're wondering whether you're low, yes, you can test your levels with a simple blood magnesium test, but keep in mind, most of your magnesium lives inside your cells, not floating in your blood. So normal blood levels don't always mean you're truly okay. If you have signs like muscle cramps, fatigue, or irregular heartbeat, talk to your doctor. They might still recommend a supplement. If you'd rather boost it naturally, which is always a great idea, load up on magnesium-rich foods. Think, pumpkin seeds, just 1 ounce gives you about 150 milligrams. Spinach, 1 cup cooked equals 157 milligrams. Almonds, 1 ounce equals 80 milligrams. Black beans, avocados, dark chocolate, and even bananas also give you a solid magnesium boost. But here's the thing. It's hard to get the full daily amount through food alone, especially if you have a smaller appetite. That's why a small supplement, taken in the evening, can work wonders. In fact, many people find it helps them sleep better and wake up without leg cramps. Let me tell you about George, a 76-year-old grandfather from Ohio, used to love his evening walks. But one summer, he started waking up at night with painful leg cramps. So bad, he once fell trying to stand up. His muscles felt stiff during the day, and he was constantly tired. Doctors tested his heart and nerves. All came back normal. But finally, a smart nurse suggested checking his magnesium levels. Sure enough, they were well below the recommended range. Within 2 weeks of starting a daily magnesium supplement, George said, "It felt like I got my legs back." He had no idea that a simple mineral he wasn't even thinking about was the key to solving months of pain and weakness. And like so many seniors, he learned, aging isn't always the problem. Sometimes it's what you're missing. And there you have it, the 3 essential nutrients your body is silently begging for, especially as you age. Vitamin D, B12, and magnesium aren't just nice to have. They're the difference between thriving and just surviving. Don't let leg cramps, fatigue, memory loss, or muscle weakness become your new normal. These aren't just signs of getting older. They're red flags that your body is missing something simple but powerful. Get your levels checked, talk to your doctor, and most importantly, take action before problems start. If this video helped you, please like it so more people see it. Subscribe for more life-saving health tips, and share this with a friend or parent, because sometimes the smallest changes make the biggest difference. This video is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider before starting any new supplement, medication, or treatment, especially if you have underlying health conditions or are taking prescription drugs.